In this video, I'd like to introduce the concepts of arithmetic and geometric sequences. So you can see a couple examples here of different types of sequences. And a sequence is essentially a set of numbers where there's a pattern to it. So for instance, with the arithmetic sequence, it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The next one would be 12, then 14, and so on. And specifically for these arithmetic sequences, they have what we call a common difference. And in this case, you can see the difference between each of these terms in the sequence is 2. Namely, notice that you are adding 2 every time to be able to find the next term. And that's why the next term would be 12, since you can add 2 to 10. So in this case, our common difference is 2. Now, for a geometric sequence, instead of being additive, they are multiplicative. So it starts with 2, then 4, 8, 16, 32. The next one would be 64, then 128, and so on. And these sequences have what we call a common ratio. And in this case, the common ratio is 2. So notice that between each step here, going from one term to the next, that you're always multiplying by that same number. In this case, 2. So that's how you find the next term. You multiply by 2, and so that will give us 64. So you can summarize that these arithmetic sequences, these are additive, and you could subtract from term to term, but we'll just be broad and call both of those cases additive. And for these geometric sequences, these are what we call multiplicative. And again, this is being a little bit broad because you could be dividing from one term to the next, though you could also see it as multiplying by a fraction from one term to the next. So let's just look at a couple more examples of these just to get a better idea. So for these arithmetic sequences, let's look at the example. Let's say we have 3, then 7, 11. And notice to form this sequence that you just have to add by the same number or subtract by the same number, going from one term to the next. And in this case, we are adding 4 every step. So 11 plus 4 gives us 15. 15 plus 4 gives us 19. Adding 4 gives us 23, and it will go on forever. So in this case, our common difference is positive 4. Now another example for a geometric sequence. Let's say in this case, we start with 5, then we go to 15, then 45, and you want to look for the pattern. So what is our common ratio here? What are we multiplying by to go from one step to the next? So in this case, you can see the common ratio is 3. Since every step we are multiplying by 3, so to find the next number, you multiply 45 by 3, and 3 times 40 is 120, 3 times 5 is 15. So add those together and you get 135. And you could, of course, keep going. You would just multiply that by 3. But this sequence will, again, just go on forever. Where in this case, we can say our common ratio is 3, or we are multiplying by 3 every step. And again, you can multiply by fractions. You can multiply by negative numbers. Just like with arithmetic sequences, you can be subtracting, or you could be starting in the negative numbers. So there are all different possibilities for these, but for this video, we mostly just wanted to go over the definitions and the key concepts in each of these ideas.